Claudia's going to help me, but I can see both of the screens, Claudia, and now everybody can just see me, which is horrific. But Sam, your question is number one. Hi, Adam. You mentioned that you learned a bit of Python at Ulster Uni. How useful do you think learning Python has been to your understanding of GIS? Adam, are we there?
I'm here. Can you see me? Cool.
Yep.
Yes.
Hi, Sam. Thanks for your question. You've waited, I think, about an hour and a half for this to be answered, so I'm really hoping you're still on the call to hear the answer. But yeah, so there's a lot of questions that are really similar to this one, so I'll try and take down a few of them in the same kind of answer. For Esri in specific, there is no requirement for any sort of coding. I promise you, when I walk through the door, although I do have a little bit of programming experience, most people don't, and you don't need it at all. It's not a prerequisite, and we're not trying to catch you out of kind of, oh, well, actually, if you do have it, you're definitely going to get the job or anything like that. For me, I think what I would say is, if it interests you, then it's useful. Like for me, I'm really interested in that sort of thing, and I can potentially see myself going down that route in the future. And so for me, Python has been useful because the sort of things that I did at Ulster, the sort of things I like to kind of try and keep up to date with, because I think they're going to be useful later down the line at Esri, then yeah, Python is useful. But for a lot of people at Esri, they don't use Python in their day-to-day at all. So I think the thing that I would say to people, and this goes for Python, SQL, R, any of that sort of thing, yes, they have applications in GIS. You can involve them as much as you want. Like for example, like Python is used for like automation and things like that, and it does have kind of a growing use in GIS. So it's something to be aware of, but not necessarily like fluent in. But equally, if you think looking at some Python stuff, actually this is really interesting, I really enjoy this. There's loads of resources on Esri's sites. Go and have a look at them. So yeah, to sum up, if it interests you, go for it. Try and learn some Python and talk about it in interviews and stuff, because it is a really cool use of GIS. But equally, don't feel like you have to. It's not required. And yeah, I hope that's answered your question.
Has anybody on the panel got anything else they want to add to Adam's answer? Alice has her hand up.
So I would agree with everything that Adam has said. It's definitely not a prerequisite, but I would definitely say that if you're interested in the consultancy side of it, pretty much it is a requirement from a longer term thing. Esri UK is a tech company, so if you want to work at Esri UK in the tech side of it, I don't work in the tech side of it. I don't write Python, but if you want to get into the tech side, then yes, Python, JavaScript, any language that allows you to then sort of transfer those skills would be useful, but they are definitely not a prerequisite.
Yeah, and I think
I guess also to add as well.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, Addy. Jumping at each other. I was just going to add as well that you get the opportunity to develop those skills at Esri UK as well. So if you've maybe got an interest in it, but you've not had the opportunity to kind of develop that before joining, there's so many opportunities while you're with us to kind of develop those skills, and you'll realize what you are interested in maybe once you're in the industry, and you can develop it that way. So yeah, it's basically, as everyone said, just what you're interested in. If you do want to go down more of the technology route, we probably would recommend you kind of having a look at it beforehand, but you don't need to be an expert before joining. So yeah.
I was going to add, if you're looking at lots of jobs, you might see required skills, like essential, and then desired. If the ones that you're looking at always have Python or SQL or anything else in the essential skills, then probably try and get that skill onto your CV. If it's in the desired, as Adam said, and you've got an interest in it, do some little extracurricular stuff, and then put it on you've got basic Python. I hate it when people say that they're experts and they've done like an intro course, because I'm not an expert in anything. And apparently I've been working for some time. Anyway, Gemma, I also have said that your question is now answered because it was around Python and SQA. Hopefully that is okay. But Gemma, your next question is next on the list, which is, do you offer any summer internship or placements? I'm currently a student studying BA Geography and would like to get experience working in a GIS role. Laura, are you best placed to answer this?
Probably. So no, unfortunately, we don't really offer any internships or placements. We just don't have that many opportunities. If we were ever to have anything, then it would be on our website, and you'd be able to apply via that. But you might find there's a lot of companies that you can go and get some experience with, where you're actually using maybe GIS to plot things. So that's probably one of the routes that a lot of people actually end up doing while they're studying.
It's a weird thing. Like Esri UK has got probably the biggest number of GIS people in one company in the UK, but Alice is in PS and her teams do the GIS. Everybody else is either selling or supporting it. And it's difficult to put people into those roles on a temporary basis. Loads of really good organizations, essentially, or especially in the third sector, not for profit, find one that aligns with your compass, your moral compass, or your interests. Send them a speculative letter, tell them what you're good at, and see if they bite your hand off. Some of them will. Right, next question. What is the coolest use of GIS out there? Anyone? Well, I think GIS helps answer big questions, and we are surrounded by huge questions at the moment, mainly things around global poverty and climate change. And I think they do have part of the puzzle. But anybody got anything specific apart from my potato map that I'm going to talk about? Anyone?
Okay,
Molly's
so
got her hand up. Oh,
okay. So my favourite one that I like to throw at people, because why would you think GIS is used in this at all, is the movie Zootopia. Disney used GIS to build the world that's in that film, and that blows my mind. So there you go.
Alice?
So mine was actually not one that I've been involved in, but someone told me about in an interview where they worked for a humanitarian company and they were using satellite imagery and then machine learning to count how many tents were in a refugee camp to work out how much aid gets there. If that doesn't like pull your heartstrings, and I don't know what does, but the person was successful in joining Esri UK, but I just thought, oh my God, what great use of technology to help a real life problem. So that one's always been one of my favorites.
That's great. I thought of one with drones and thermal imaging cameras to look at to try and find landmines because they heat up at a different rate than the surrounding soil. So then you can target sort of people into areas. I think what we'll do is all of us will come up with at least one cool use of GIS and we'll put it at the bottom of the resource. So that's homework for everybody that has got their cameras on. Right. Does Esri offer year-long placement programs for undergrad students? Not officially. We have done one in the past, but if you're interested, send something in and then we'll consider it. And it's probably the best answer I can give, anonymous. It's not something that we do regularly. Are there more technical placements during the grad program, for example, using Python, SQL, or R? So maybe Molly, second year of this grad program, is best equipped for this question.
Yeah, so there's nothing kind of like specific. You don't go into a rotation called coding in GIS, but you can definitely throw these interests in wherever, or even if it's not an interest, you've never tried it before, you just want to give it a go, you can. For example, when I made my map gallery, I threw some Arcade, which is our own scripting language, in. Adam's made that dashboard he showed you earlier, which has some really cool Python notebooks. So when there are opportunities to throw it in and develop those skills as and when throughout the program, there's not a specific rotation where it's kind of more of a focus, but you can definitely tailor it to your interests there.
Excellent.
yeah, I'd say just to add to that, Addy, sorry, really quickly, you can typically be really vocal on what your interests are, and as much as possible across all of the rotations, we'll try and find the best projects or tasks or anything like that to suit what you want to develop in. So yeah, I'd say as much as possible we try to. Obviously, it depends on the projects and things like that available in each rotation, but it's what you make of it, I think, as Molly says. So yeah.
It is lots of flexibility. Right. So is it common to be offered another role if you're not successful in the grad scheme? Laura, that's for you.
Yes, absolutely it is. We always bring in some additional graduates into other roles that we've interviewed for the grad program. So we very much take it as an opportunity to see as many great people as we can and then work out kind of where we could bring them into the business.
I think we had 8 grads last year, which is our biggest intake. But in previous years, we've taken on sort of 6 or 7, but then 4 or 5 non-grad scheme people.
Absolutely.
So we took on 11
Yeah.
one year, didn't we?
Yeah.
There is a mix. And Laura will do a good job of fishing people out and putting them into the most appropriate job, but communicating with you as part of that process.
Yeah.
What is the salary of the grad scheme entry?
So I can answer that. We're currently finalising what it is going to be for next year. So, but by the time we advertise and open for applications, which is 1st of December, it will be on our adverts. The one thing I would like to highlight is that you should look at the salary, obviously incredibly important, but look at the overall package. And I would say that's for every role you apply for. We actually also have a really generous bonus scheme, which is detailed. So whatever you're applying for, try and find out as much as you can about everything, not just your basic salary.
Yeah, and that I've got a slide on when the grad scheme's opening at the end, but yeah, 1st of December for anybody that didn't hear that. Do you commonly hire junior GIS developers? We've hired a couple. Matthew is on the call. He is one. Matthew?
Yeah, I suppose it's for me it was kind of a one in, one out basis. Someone left the research team and I kind of joined in. But if you're looking to kind of use Python, SQL, or R, then I suppose it doesn't necessarily need to be in a GIS or a junior GIS developer role. Lots of consultants I know use Python in their day-to-day basis. So yeah, not, I suppose, yeah, in short, not commonly hiring GIS developers, but lots of Python jobs coming up, I'm sure.
Alice, did you have anything to add there?
Yeah, I can say, so a couple of other departments. So professional services, we have a software engineering team. So there's a range, obviously, of different abilities of software engineers within that. And then within a team that's called our localization team, we also have a number of software engineers within there. So there are many opportunities, many people that work in the software engineering world within the business.
Excellent. The next question is really, do companies require knowledge or experience of all software and databases like R? The answer is really no. We put in what we would like, and then, it's almost like application and skills bingo. The more you have, the more points you might get. But it's not just about that. As Laura said, and you might have taken from this, Laura likes a covering letter. And there's a lot that can come out in that. So it's not just about how many applications can you list on your CV. I noticed that our 2 grads have disappeared, so security are now dragging them to the front door of the building as we speak, but we'll try and get through the rest of the questions. Do you recommend any Esri training courses or certification that would be useful to get a better GIS skills? Yeah, I mean, whilst you're at university, you should have a named user identity to access ArcGIS Pro and ArcGIS Online, and you can use that to get access to all of the Esri training courses, all of the virtual stuff, and you should do them. The certification actually costs you a bit of money. I think it's about $150 converted into pounds to go through the exam. That's not us. That's the accreditation examination platform that Esri uses that take that money. So there is a small cost to doing certification. But I think if you can list the courses that you've done and completed, and you usually get a digital certificate of that, then that would be good. And then you can put down other skills like 3D GIS or some Python, ArcGIS notebooks, whatever. Anybody else got anything to add on that from the panel? If not, I will carry on. We've done that one. It's so good it was in twice. And that one, just tidying up. What is the map behind you, Matthew?
That's a tricky one. It's a geology map of the UK from the 60s.
Very cool.
Is good. I'm a graduate with a BSc in computer science, don't have a geography background or GIS. Do you have a chance with Esri UK in the grad program? I'd say yes, but you can easily gain a bit of GIS skill by doing some of the open access training courses, which you'll get with your named user identity through your university. GIS has never been simpler to get into with ArcGIS Online, and then you can, with confidence, put that you have some GIS skill on your CV. Computer science is really interesting, just being, we are part of data science in GIS. Data science is part of computer science. So I'd say yes. But if you can do some basic GIS courses, that'll strengthen your application. Laura, have you got anything to add on that? Or
Yeah, I think absolutely. We're really, really happy to look at people with different backgrounds and different experiences. But I think the main thing is you need to gain, before you come to an interview, if you like, an understanding of GIS, which you can do online. And just, we're obviously, if someone's got a slightly different background, then we will ask, why are you interested in it? So you need to just be prepared to answer that question. Absolutely. But no, we're really keen to look at people from all different areas.
And I think one of our grad cohort from this year has physics, don't they, or something as their main degree. They've got very little. Was it physics? I think it was.
Yeah.
We absolutely have people that have never touched GIS that have joined us on the grad program. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a mature student in second year.
Sorry, Eddie, could I just add to that one? I mean, if you've never used kind of GIS before and you're more comfortable with like the developer side of things, then there is Esri developers as well, which is a whole suite of kind of developer tools that have tutorials to get started. So dogs.
Sorry, Matthew's been savaged by a small dog there, I think. Vicky, your question. I just apply for the grad scheme, and Laura is really good at identifying where your strengths are and then discussing with you if there are any other roles that might be a better fit for you. But when the grad scheme opens, it's going to be the biggest place to get your CV into, and then it will be considered, and its strengths will be fitted into whatever opportunities we have. Industrial placements, I think we've answered that one already. Unfortunately, we're not really doing those. I'm just going to tidy up again. What skills and qualifications would be relevant for applying to the grad scheme? Well, GIS, bit of data manipulation, some remote sensing, being a nice rounded person that can act as a team player, is also good at completing things on their own, all those normal things. And some of the skills that you probably take for granted in your university life, such as presenting, writing legibly without masses of spelling mistakes, like I have in my writing, but Laura didn't interview me, so I slipped through the net. Yeah, what you're doing at university should be relevant. You just have to extract the skills from the courses. So analytical thinking, inquiring mind, stuff like that. Laura, have you got?
No, absolutely.
Yes.
Problem solving, wanting to do a great job for our customers, that sort of thing. So we look at, you might have very diverse background and experience, but we'll just look for those sort of skills as well.
I think the next question is about how long after you've graduated are you considered eligible for the grad program? It's a couple of years at least, isn't it, Laura?
Yeah, and we do not have a hard and fast rule. Obviously, we tend to find that most of the people join us probably have graduated within the last of 3 years, but it shouldn't stop you applying. We had someone apply last year that actually had more experience than that, and we brought them into a different role straight into our professional services department because that suited them better for many reasons. So no hard and fast rules. Certainly if you've had a year off or something, that's absolutely fine. Please apply.
Yeah, next question. No, it's not open yet, but the 1st of December it should be. So there'll be a link that'll be in the story map. There'll be a button, and I'll change it from coming soon to the 1st of December when the web page goes live. But you'll also see it on LinkedIn when it does go live. Yep, LinkedIn for you, Matthew. You can get a LinkedIn friend. I'm going to circulate everything, all the information around to everybody that signed up to the webinar, so you will get everybody's LinkedIn at that point.
Also, I think I'm the only Matthew coming up Esri UK, so pretty confident anyway.
Laura, another one for you. Are there visa sponsorships available for the Esri graduate roles?
Unfortunately, no, we're not able to sponsor it. It doesn't meet the requirements for our company or even the government thresholds. So we do ask that people have at least 2 years entitlement to work when they join us so that they can complete the graduate program.
Yep. Are there opportunities to work from a dissertation project in technical side GIS developer. Not sure if that means working with us, but if you don't know how that would work, I don't think it would. But if you can tailor your dissertation to anything that you want, which you think might then give you the skills, the demonstratable skills to get the job that you want. So if you want to be a developer, make sure that your dissertation has some dev work in it. Do you think have I interpreted the question correctly there, or does anybody have a different interpretation?
That's how I took it, Addy. So
Okay, great. I'm an undergraduate mature student, parent of a 10-year-old, comp-sci background. Yeah, I mean, yes, I think is the answer to that. I would stick the application in, and again, Laura and her team will go through those. And if there's a more suitable opportunity, you might get offered that or to interview for that. But I don't see that being a problem. And there's more questions in review. Where do you see GIS expanding to be used in the future? It's getting easier. Our customer base is getting wider and more varied. So I don't know what it's going to expand into because it is pretty much everywhere at the moment. Questions have just disappeared off mine, so I'm just going to go back there. How many spots are there for the grad role in GIS developer? Well, we don't have a specific role in the grad scheme for a GIS developer, but you will get opportunities to develop code as part of your grad rotations. And I don't know if we've defined how many graduates we're going to take on this year or not yet.
We bring 8 in on the graduate programme, plus, as I say, any other vacancies that might suit others.
And then the final one for you, Laura, how competitive is it? It's quite competitive.
Yeah, I mean, last year we received in just shy of 2,000 applications, to be fair, across all the different platforms. So it is competitive. However, making sure, as I say, you apply via the method that we ask. So via our website, we will make sure that's really clear everywhere, and including a covering letter. You also have the opportunity, if you want, to submit a video. If you're up for that, I would really recommend that. And a lot of companies do that now as well. It's not about being a polished video, but again, it's just like talking to us, like we're talking to you now. It really helps us, get to know you, and it helps us, it helps you stand out from the crowd.
The other thing I would say, go and have a look at the Esri UK website. Have a look at the case studies and see who we work with. All of the logos that Alice showed on her slides are our customers, and they may be taking on graduates with GIS skills. As Adam said, he applied for lots of companies. Esri was one of his top ones that he wanted to work for. He got rejected from some, and he got this job. So apply for as many as you can. Go and have a look at the logos that we've got on our website and think about the companies that are doing interesting things. Last thing I'll say is that you're most successful in life when you are passionate about what you do. Unfortunately, I was passionate about glaciology, and there aren't many jobs in the UK with that in GIS. But if you're interested in sustainable transport, go and find organisations that work in that. Councils, Sustrans, but also engineering consultancies building sustainable networks for bicycles, buses, taxis, etc. So align it with your passion, and then your toolkit is GIS that you apply to the area that you're passionate about. Has anybody else got some closing wisdom remarks?
I guess one of those previous questions was kind of relating to the future of where we see GIS going. And I think that's quite the exciting thing, because we don't know yet. This is kind of uncharted territory. We see what GIS can do, and we're just basically trying to communicate that as much as we can to all of our customers and beyond. So I guess the answer is we don't know, but it's powerful and can reach all industries almost. So I guess that's something exciting about being a part of Esri UK and kind of delivering that software to hopefully as many business and world issues as we can. So
And
I think that's exciting.
What we do know is that there's been the rise of AI recently and machine learning, and they are big things, but also cloud compute has given us the opportunity, rather than just using your desktop to use the cloud compute and massive computers, so you can solve bigger problems for bigger questions in a more timely fashion. And when it's automated or learning through AI, what does the future hold? So we're on this sort of like inflection point with GIS and computer science, and it's quite exciting. I don't think AI is going to replace GIS consultants, but those GIS consultants are going to tool AI to answer questions.